All right, let's go through the lecture, the longer one, which is more difficult than the conversation. So the first one is a purpose question. What is the purpose of the lecture? So let's take a look at this because some people have missed it. So to explain the difference between two artistic styles, well, they did mention two artistic styles. They said there was Impressionism and there was Realism, and they talked about the differences of both. So we could maybe to describe a new art gallery to the class. No, he's not describing an art gallery. Definitely not an art gallery. To introduce an artist's work to the class. Okay, maybe, right? Rose Franson. To show how artist styles can evolve over time. Well, that was kind of a detail, but not really the purpose of the lecture. So is the lecturer saying the difference between two styles or to introduce an artist's work? So here the answer is going to be C, to introduce an artist's work. Yes, they do mention the two styles, Impressionism and Realism, but mainly here we're looking at introducing Rose Franson to the class. So the answer there is going to be C. What's the professor say about Franson's painting of a farm scene? It resembles a photograph. I think there were some elements of that. It may be Franson's best known painting. I didn't mention it was the best known one. It was painted in the Impressionist style. Yeah, he does mention that. And it was painted while Franson lived abroad. So B and D we can definitely take out. Those I think would be easy. Now we get to the 50-50 choice. Is it A, resembles a photograph, or B, it was painted in the Impressionist style? And for this one, they talk about the sales barn and the farm scene and mention that it was using a lot of the Impressionistic style. So the answer there is going to be C. All right, for number 8, why did Franson go to the sales barn? To study human form and movement. Okay, they do mention something that she wanted to see how they interact, how they move, how they stand, their posture. To earn money by painting portraits. They did say that she earned money by painting portraits, but not till the end, and it was not about the sales barn. So B is going to be incorrect here. To paint farm animals in an outdoor setting. Don't believe so here, no. To meet people who could model for her painting. No, not this one either. So the answer here is going to be A. Number 9, what does the professor imply about the painting of the young woman surrounded by pumpkins? So remember, this is an implication question, remember? So to imply. So the professor doesn't actually say it. You have to kind of gather the information and make your own inference. Did they say that it was painted at an art fair? No, it's not something we can infer where it was painted. It combines Impressionism with Realism. Yeah, this one they mentioned different aspects, right? So realism in the face. However, in the background, they said it was more broad brush strokes, so that's going to be Impressionism. Let's look at C. It convinced Franson that she was a good illustrator. No. They did mention that while she was advertising, they said she was a very good illustrator, but not this painting. It was originally meant to be used in an advertisement. No, she did work for an advertising company, but not the painting of the pumpkins. So the answer is going to be B. It combines Impressionism with Realism. Number 10, why does the professor discuss Franson's difficulties as a young painter? He wants to point out mistakes that young artists commonly make. I don't remember him really mentioning any mistakes that she made here, so I don't think it's going to be A. He thinks her example can inspire students in their own lives. I do think so here. Remember, he said at the very end, he said, just keep going, keep doing, keep painting. So I think that could be used to inspire, but let's check out some of the other C and D. Her difficulties remind him of the difficulties he himself experienced as a young artist. He never mentions himself as an artist here, so definitely not C. Her difficulties are the subject of some of the paintings in the gallery that the students will visit. Yeah, she didn't paint her difficulties. That was not something that was the subject of her art, so definitely not D. So the answer here is he thinks that she can inspire students in their own lives. Remember, they said one of her professors said she wasn't good enough, so she went into advertising, but she kept painting. She would save money by doing the painting in the fair. And so he said, as long as you keep going, it can be an inspiration to the other students. B is the answer. Okay, number 11, we listened to part of the lecture, and then we'll answer the question. And he said, I find Rose Franson to be a very accessible artist. So what does the professor imply when he says this? I find Rose Franson to be a very accessible artist. So A, the students could understand Franson's art without knowing about her life. Okay, maybe. Accessible means easy to relate to. B, the student should pay very close attention to what he's going to say. No, he's not saying, hey, pay attention to this. He just said, I think she's very accessible. Some of his students are already familiar with Franson's life story. No, many people were not. Some of his students may not appreciate Franson's work. No, he's not saying that. He's saying she's very accessible, meaning that any student can understand Franson's art without knowing about her life. It's quite easy to look at the picture and understand what she was trying to do. So the answer here is going to be A.